Arizona Desert, July 1978. The film set was a furnace, 112 degrees, the kind of heat that makes your lungs hurt when you breathe. Tommy Marsh had been Clint Eastwood's stuntman for 3 years, 27 years old, former rodeo rider, built like a truck. He'd taken falls, car crashes, fistfights, never complained once. Today, he'd just completed a dangerous horse stunt, thrown from a galloping horse at full speed, rolled twice in the dirt, landed exactly where he was supposed to. Perfect execution. Director Victor Harding stood 50 feet away, watching the playback on a small monitor. Then he started walking toward Tommy, fast, angry. "That was garbage!" Harding's voice carried across the entire set. Tommy was still on the ground, catching his breath, dust in his lungs, body aching from the impact. "Get up! We're doing it again!" Tommy stood slowly. "Sir, the stunt coordinator said that was perfect." "I don't care what the stunt coordinator said." Harding was in his face now, screaming, spit flying. "I'm the director. I say when it's right, and that was amateur hour." The crew had stopped working, everyone watching. This wasn't the first time Harding had exploded at someone, but it was always the crew. Never the actors, always the people who couldn't fight back. "You want to keep this job?" Harding jabbed a finger into Tommy's chest. "Then stop wasting my time and my money. Get back on that horse and do it right." Tommy's face was red, from heat, from shame, from anger he couldn't express. "Yes, sir. And if you screw it up again, you're fired. You understand me?" 50 feet away in the shade of a building facade, Clint Eastwood stood watching. He'd seen the whole thing. His jaw tightened. Tommy Marsh had been eating dirt for Victor Harding for 6 weeks. This was Tommy's first big movie. Before this, he'd done local rodeos, small TV commercials. This film was supposed to be his break. Clint had personally requested Tommy. "Kid's got guts," Clint had told the producers. "He doesn't hesitate." But Victor Harding didn't care about guts. He cared about control. Harding was known for two things: beautiful cinematography and brutal treatment of crew. 3 successful westerns. Critics loved his visual style. What they didn't see was how he achieved it. By screaming at camera operators until they cried, by working crews 16-hour days, by treating anyone below the line like disposable equipment. In 6 weeks, Tommy had been yelled at 17 times for stunts executed perfectly, for timing that was exactly as rehearsed, for mistakes that weren't his. Other crew members had warned him, "Just take it, don't talk back. Harding can blacklist you." So Tommy took it, every insult, every public humiliation. Because he needed this job. His wife was pregnant. If he got fired from a Clint Eastwood movie, no one else would hire him. But today was different. Today, Clint had been watching. And Clint Eastwood didn't believe in staying silent when someone was being abused. Clint stood in the shade watching Tommy walk back toward the horse. The kid's shoulders were slumped, defeated. Clint had seen this before, not just on film sets. He'd seen it in the military, in boxing gyms, in construction yards. Bullies with a little bit of power using it to crush people who couldn't fight back. He'd promised himself years ago he wouldn't become that kind of man, and he wouldn't let it happen to people around him. But there was a calculation to make, a risk assessment. Victor Harding was the director. Technically, Clint worked for him. If Clint challenged Harding publicly, it could create problems. The studio might side with the director. The production could get messy. Clint's reputation as easy to work with could take a hit. And for what? To defend a stuntman who'd be forgotten in 6 months? Clint watched Tommy climb back onto the horse. The kid's hands were shaking slightly, fear or exhaustion or both. Harding stood at the monitor, arms crossed, waiting to criticize again. Clint made his decision. Some things mattered more than convenience, more than politics, more than keeping everyone happy. Loyalty mattered. Protecting people who couldn't protect themselves mattered. Tommy Marsh had thrown himself off a moving horse at full speed because Clint's character needed that shot. The kid had risked his life, literally risked permanent injury, to make Clint look good. And now some screaming director thought he could humiliate Tommy in front of 50 people? Not on Clint's set. Clint stepped out of the shade, started walking toward Harding. His boots made soft sounds in the dust. The crew noticed him moving. A few people nudged each other. Clint Eastwood was coming, and his face said this wasn't a friendly visit. Victor. Harding turned, saw Clint approaching. His expression shifted. Less confident, but trying to maintain authority. Clint, we're resetting the shot. Your stuntman needs another take. No, he doesn't. Clint's voice was calm, quiet, but everyone on set heard it. Excuse me? The stunt was perfect. I watched it. Everyone watched it. Tommy did exactly what you asked. Harding's face reddened. I'm the director. I decide what's perfect. And I'm the lead actor. And that's my stuntman you just screamed at. Clint stepped closer. Not aggressive, but purposeful. He risked his neck for this movie. For you. And you repay him by humiliating him. I don't tell you how to act. Don't tell me how to direct. I'm not telling you how to direct. I'm telling you how to treat people. The set had gone completely silent. Camera operators lowering their equipment. Crew members frozen in place. Harding tried to recover control. Clint, I understand you want to protect your guy, but his name is Tommy. Use it. Fine. Tommy messed up the stunt. We need another take. That's not negotiable. Clint looked at Harding for a long moment. Then he said the 6 words that would stop production cold. He works for me. We're done. Harding blinked. What? Tommy works for me, not you. And I'm done. We're wrapping for the day. You can't just watch me. Clint raised his voice slightly. That's a wrap, everyone. Pack it up. The crew didn't move. They looked between Clint and Harding. Who did they listen to? Clint turned to the assistant director. Dave, call it. We're done. Dave hesitated, then, that's a wrap. Strike the set. The crew erupted into motion, not slowly, not reluctantly, fast, grateful. Finally, someone had stood up. Victor Harding stood frozen, his mouth open, his authority evaporating in real time. You can't do this. I'm the director. Then direct, Clint said calmly. But you'll do it without me, and without Tommy, and probably without half this crew if you keep screaming at them. The studio will hear about this. Good. Tell them. Tell them you yelled at my stuntman for executing a perfect stunt. Tell them I walked off because you created a hostile work environment. See how that goes. Harding looked around. The crew was packing equipment, moving fast. No one was coming to his defense. No one was stopping to argue Clint's decision, because everyone on that set had been waiting for someone to stand up to Harding. And Clint just did. Tommy Marsh stood by the horse, watching this unfold. He looked like he might pass out. Clint walked over to him, put a hand on his shoulder. You okay, kid? I didn't mean to cause trouble. You didn't cause anything. That was all him. The stunt was perfect. You did your job. Better than perfect. Tommy's eyes were wet. Thank you. Don't thank me. This is how it should be. Nobody gets to scream at my people. Nobody. The production manager appeared, panicked. Clint, we need to talk about this. The schedule's fine. We'll shoot tomorrow, after Victor apologizes to Tommy and the crew. Clint, that's the deal. He apologizes, we come back. He doesn't, I don't. Simple. The production manager looked at Harding. Harding's face was purple with rage, but he was trapped. Fire Clint Eastwood, the star of the movie? The reason the studio greenlit the project? Impossible. Harding had power, but Clint had more. And Clint had just used it to protect someone who couldn't protect himself. That night, the studio executives made frantic phone calls. To Clint, please come back, we'll handle it. To Harding, apologize tomorrow first thing. To the producers, fix this now. The next morning, the crew arrived tense, uncertain. Would Clint really come back? Would Harding apologize? At 7 a.m., everyone gathered. Clint stood next to Tommy. Harding stood facing them, surrounded by producers and executives. The set was silent. Harding cleared his throat. His voice was tight, forced. Yesterday, I was frustrated with the heat in the schedule. I took it out on Tommy. That was unprofessional. I apologize. It wasn't sincere, everyone knew it, but it was public, official, on record. Tommy nodded. Accepted. Clint didn't nod, just stared at Harding, then turned to the crew. Let's make a good movie. Everybody deserves respect. From me, from Victor, from each other. That's how we do this. The crew erupted in applause. Not polite applause, real appreciation, relief. Someone had fought for them. Production resumed. But everything was different. Harding directed, but quietly. No more screaming, no more public humiliations. He'd learned what happened when he pushed too far. And Tommy Marsh worked harder than ever. Not from fear, from gratitude, from loyalty to the man who'd protected him. Years later, Tommy would say, Clint didn't just save my job that day. He saved my dignity. He reminded me I mattered. Word spread through Hollywood fast. Clint Eastwood had shut down production to protect his stuntman. Some actors dismissed it. Clint can afford to make demands. He's Clint Eastwood. But others paid attention. Younger actors. People who'd been watching crew members get abused for years. Within months, similar incidents happened on other sets. Actors standing up for makeup artists. Directors being called out for screaming at assistants. The culture was shifting. Not everywhere. Not completely. But cracks were forming in the old system where crew members were disposable. Stunt coordinators started telling the story to new performers. You work for the actor, not the director. Good actors protect their people. Tommy Marsh's career exploded, not just because of skill, because everyone knew Clint Eastwood had stood up for him. That meant Tommy was loyal, trustworthy. He worked on 40 more films, became a stunt coordinator himself, and when he trained new performers, he always told them the story. July 1978. Arizona. Victor Harding screaming at me, and Clint Eastwood saying 6 words that changed my life. He works for me, we're done. That's what loyalty looks like, Tommy would say. Not speeches, action, when it's hard, when it costs something. After that film wrapped, Clint called Tommy into his trailer. You got plans after this? Looking for the next job. Hoping someone hires me after all the drama? Clint smiled. You're hired. I'm doing 3 more films this year. I want you on all of them. Clint, you don't have to. I know I don't have to. I want to. You're good at your job. You didn't quit when Harding tried to break you. That matters. For 15 years, Tommy Marsh was Clint Eastwood's primary stuntman. 18 films together. They became friends. Real friends. Tommy's wife had their baby 3 months later. A boy. They named him Clinton. After the man who stood up for his dad, Tommy told everyone. Clint came to the hospital, brought a gift. A leather jacket with Clinton Marsh embroidered on it. Years later, when Tommy's son became a stuntman, Clint hired him too. 3 generations of protection. Clint taught me something that day, Tommy said in his final interview. Power isn't about control. It's about protection. You use what you have to shield people who can't shield themselves. Tommy died in 2019. Clint spoke at his funeral. Tommy was one of the best men I ever knew. Not because he could fall off horses, because he was loyal, because he never forgot what it felt like to need someone to stand up for him, and he spent his life standing up for others. Today, film sets are different. Not perfect, but different. There are protocols now. HR departments, crew protections, unions with more power. Some of that change traces back to moments like July 1978, to Clint Eastwood saying, he works for me, we're done. Stunt performers tell the story to newcomers, a reminder that you don't have to accept abuse, that someone might stand up for you, and that you should stand up for others. Directors still get frustrated, tempers still flare, but the ones who scream at crew members, they get reputations. Word spreads. Good people stop working for them. Their careers stall because Clint showed everyone what was possible, that you didn't have to tolerate bullies, that power could be used for protection instead of control. Film schools teach the story now, not in cinematography classes, in classes about leadership, about ethics. Clint Eastwood could have stayed in the shade, professors tell students. He could have let the director handle his crew. It wasn't his problem, except he made it his problem, because that's what leaders do. And when young filmmakers ask, but what if standing up cost me my career? The answer is always the same. Then you weren't meant for this career, Because film is collaboration, and collaboration requires respect, and respect starts with standing up when someone can't stand up for themselves. In 2015, a young actor named Marcus Chen was on a low-budget set. The director was screaming at a production assistant, humiliating her publicly. Marcus was nobody, a day player, 3 lines, completely replaceable. But he remembered the story. Clint and Tommy, 1978. Marcus walked over. She's doing her best. Maybe take 5 minutes? Mind your business. This is my business. We're a team. You don't scream at teammates. The director fired him. As Marcus left, the production assistant caught up. Thank you. No one's ever done that. Someone did it for someone else once. Figured I should pay it forward. 6 months later, she called. She'd become a casting director. She had a role. 3 episodes of a new series. That series ran 5 years. Changed Marcus's career because he stood up, because he remembered the lesson. 40 years after Clint Eastwood said 6 words on a desert film set, people still tell the story. He works for me. We're done. 6 words that shut down production. 6 words that changed a life. Power isn't about control. It's about protection. Friendship isn't just good times. It's standing up when someone needs you, even when it's hard, even when it costs something. So the next time you see someone being bullied, remember Clint Eastwood walking across that dusty set. Remember that 6 words can change everything. What will you do when it's your turn?